Okay, hi guys, and welcome to the show. And today I'm doing a bit of a collection review, or state of the collection review rather. And what we're looking at here today is 4 watches from my collection. This is a bit of a sub-collection, I guess, a collection within a collection. And these, of course, if you haven't spotted already, are all dive watches. Now, dive watches for me are my favorite genre of watch. They basically embody everything that I really require in a watch. They're always quite rugged. They're always, of course, waterproof. They are tool watches, and I find their features, usually with the bezel, always extremely useful. I love the connotations of adventure, and there's a kind of romanticism, a kind of masculine romanticism, exploration, and that are always kind of the dive watches image, and understandably so. This has been a dream come true for me. I've always wanted a Submariner, and I've done videos great length discussing this, and definitely is one of the anchors, the keepers of my collection. This was my 30th, to commemorate my 30th birthday, so a bit of a landmark really in my life, and so what better to commemorate it with my favorite watch of all time. Anyway, but since then I've discovered the Aquis, I've discovered the Squale 1521, which I've fallen in love with. As you can tell, I've got 2 of them now. Very similar story happened with the Aquis. You know, I originally got the 42mm in blue. It's a bit too big. I loved it to bits. You know, it's a testament to its fantastic design that, despite being huge for me, would still fit very comfortably. And but then, of course, I learned about the 40mm version, which I should have done originally. I didn't do my homework. I just, you know, it was an impulse buy, my original blue Aquis. When I learned to their 40mm version, of course, you know, I had to trade in the blue one, which was a bit sad because that blue is just so special. It's the most refined shade of blue that I've ever come across. It's richer and darker than the Seamaster blue, a lot darker than the Squale blue. And you know, if only they made a 40mm version, that'd probably be my favorite diver of all time. It just would be amazing. But anyway, the grey is amazing in itself anyway, so it's not really a huge loss for me. And since reviewing this, I learnt that the bezel is actually made of a tungsten, which is highly very robust, and it's just a fantastic watch for around about $1,000. And then, of course, I discovered the Squale 1521s, and that kind of that took the crown of the best diver for around about $1,000. Took the crown easily away from the Aquis, but doesn't mean I don't love the Aquis anymore. Everything I said about it in the reviews, I stand by 100%. The Aquis really is a classic in the making. It's a fantastic watch. I adore it. If we just look at these 2 side by side, they're very different watches. They're totally different case designs. You know, the Squale is obviously very kind of 70s retro inspired, whereas the Aquis is a completely modern watch. You know, I couldn't choose between them because they're just so different, you know. So now I have 2 Squale. I feel a little bit kind of like there is a lot of overlapping here, but at the same time, these are so different. I'm struggling to choose between them both, and I really want to scale back the collection. You know, what's the point of having all of these watches? I hardly get to wear the Aquis now because I'm kind of experiencing that new watch feeling with the black Squale here. I've started calling it the Stealth because it reminds me of the you know, the Jet, those stealth fighters. You know, I can sense there's a bit of trouble around the corner brewing because I need to make way. I need to scale back. This is just my divers. So, you know, I think I have about 10 watches now in total, and it's getting a little bit kind of, you know, there's some pieces that are just sitting in the box and they're just not getting used. And at the same time, you know, I want to have an Aquis in my collection. I want to have a Squale. What I'm thinking at the moment, I think one of these three has to go to make way. And I'm thinking I would really love to add a Seamaster to the collection. And I'm still deliberating over the GMT thing. I haven't really made any progress. So I'm just imagining right now, if this was all my collection, if this was the only watches I had, what would I add to this? I think it's quite a fun thing to think about. I'd probably add a Seamaster. I think an Omega Seamaster, possibly the coaxial would be a really cool addition. I mean, imagine a Seamaster in here, you know. If I got a Seamaster, I'd of course get the blue one, and I think I'd probably sell the blue Squale. I think there would be too much overlap there aesthetically. So imagine if this was a Seamaster. I mean, what an amazing collection that would be. And I think that definitely kind of makes me think. I think I would sell this Squale if I got an Omega Seamaster in here. You know, I could possibly get the GMT version that I talked about in my GMT video, which would really add an extra dimension. I mean, a diver with a GMT, that would be fantastic. It would tick a lot of boxes. So at the moment, I'm kind of leaning towards the Seamaster, because I think it would complement not only this sub collection, but it would complement the whole collection as a whole. But until then, I'm going to enjoy the blue Squale for all I can. But I think with the arrival of the Stealth here, I'm just so enamored with this that I you know, it's become my go-to watch really. So it's kind of made me feel a bit differently towards this. I mean, I absolutely adore this, but if I have to choose out of these two, I think the Stealth probably takes it, just because it's. But then again, I look at this and I think, oh my god, it's gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. The only way I'd sell this is if I got a blue Seamaster in here, and I think that might possibly happen. Looking at the watches does kind of help me a little bit figuring out what I'm gonna do, and I think if I had to get rid of one of these watches, it would probably be one of the Squale. But then again, if I didn't get a Seamaster, this is actually the least amount of divers I've ever had, because before I had the Orient Black Ray, I had Seiko SKX, I had the two Aquises, then I had the Sub, and of course, you know, I've had many of the Seamasters. So, but I do miss the Seamaster. I really do miss the Seamaster, and I think I'm leaning towards that way. And unfortunately, if I get the blue Seamaster, this one might have to go. It seems ridiculous because I only pretty much just got it, but. You know, my feelings hasn't changed for this whatsoever. I still rate it. I mean, look at it. It's absolutely gorgeous. But the only way to kind of defeat the remorse, seller's remorse, is to make sure that whatever you're getting is better, that much better. And even though this is, you know, a $900 watch, it does give the you know, a $2,000 Seamaster a bit of a run for its money, really. And to be honest, I'd probably prefer to wear this because it's a bit more of an individual, it's more individualistic, I think it's a bit more stylish. It's, you know, everybody has Seamasters. But then again, everybody has Submariners, so, you know, decisions. But anyway, this is part of the chase, part of the hunt, part of the shaping of the collection, part of the process of, I guess, you know, I'm trying to get to that perfect amount. And I do see myself possibly, you know, 10 years down the line having just 3 watches, you know, or very minimalist collection, or, you know, going all out and just having every single watch I like, you know. But I'm not a person that likes clutter. I like a bit more simplicity. So, you know, I think less is definitely more. And I think if you guys have noticed anything about my channel, is that, you know, less undoubtedly is more. You know, subtlety and understatement are telltale signs of sophistication and good taste. So with that in mind, I think ultimately I will have probably a very small collection. And, you know, all this watch buying and all this reviewing and all of this is just a process to getting to that point. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there because it's going to get tad too philosophical, and there are other channels that do that much better than me. Shout out to Johnny over there at Johnny Casual Enterprises. But seriously, I it's good that I do this. It's good that I look at what I've got and try and figure out where I need to go and you know, what I need to kind of, where I'm overlapping and what I need to get rid of in order to make way for the next pieces. What do you think I should do? What would you do if this was your collection? Please let me know what you think. Anyway guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll definitely catch you in the next one. Okay guys, thank you. Ciao.